What's up everybody, Will Borza here, the LA recordist. It's the analog vlog. It's a vlog, analog. Tonight I have some work to do on Jane the Virgin. It's a show you might have heard of it. I have a couple cues to mix, and that's like top priority because I don't get to work on that show too much and I want to do a good job and show them that I can do more. You know what I mean? Now, I had an idea and I wanted to run it by you guys because you're smart and a lot of you are engineers like me, and I think you might like this. I certainly do, at least in sort of preliminary thinking about it. Here we go. In this world where all of our mixing is primarily digital, and occasionally we have a little bit of outboard gear to run it through, it's very tempting to work linearly. And by that I mean, when you need a new track, you just Control-Shift-N, add a new track, or whatever your hotkey is. When we need to add another EQ or compressor, we just pick from our drop-down menu and one magically appears. That is the convenience we have in the digital world. And oftentimes it gets to be a little bit excessive, and the biggest problem today for a lot of people is overmixing, but that's putting more processing on things than is necessary. So I was thinking back to how it used to be done, and in major studios you'd have obviously the mixing console, and then the mixing console would be sent out to usually a rack behind them, and that's where the outboard gear is. 1176s, LA2As, Fairchilds, Pultecs, that kind of stuff. So, back in the day, they didn't have the option of, okay, we have an 88 channel board, let's just add another channel and make it 89 channels. It's not an option. They had to go under the tape, they had to sum down, and they couldn't just pick EQs out of the air. They couldn't pick compressors out of there, or reverbs, or stuff like that. And so, if you had two 1176 compressors, those are the only 1176 compressors you have. You can't add 50. So my thought was, what if I created, or what if you created, what if we created a template that in Pro Tools or Logic, whatever your DAW is, it sort of simulated a old school recording studio where you'd have exactly 72 channels or 60 channels or 88 channels or whatever you want it to be. And each one of those channels had a console strip on it. You pick your favorite plugin, could be Waves SSL, could be Plugin Alliance BX Console, which is I think my favorite right now. And then you would choose basically your outboard gear. What outboard gear would you want in your dream studio? Well, make a short list and make a bus for each one of those units that you would want, the EQs, the compressors, the reverbs, etc. And then you'd be left with, you know, let's say 60 channels of channel strips. That's where you drop your audio on. And then if rather than adding another plugin underneath the channel strip, if you want your audio to be affected, you make a bus and you route it to one of the channels where you've put a dedicated Pultec equalizer or Fairchild compressor or whatever. I took the liberty of going to Abbey Road Studios website, and I looked up Abbey Road Studio 2, which is where the Beatles recorded most of their stuff, and I made a list of their gear because I'm a nerd. They have 3 reverbs, 2 delays, 7 EQs, 2 of which are stereo, 2 de-essers, 2 noise gates, 1 stereo SSL compressor, 4 Fairchild compressors, 2 1176s, and 2 stereo limiters. So I think it would be kind of cool to take a Neve channel strip plugin and put it across all the audio tracks, and then make a bus for each one of those effects, processors, whatever you want to call them. And essentially what you've done there is you've created a digital Abbey Road Studio 2. And the idea is to limit yourself in the way that the old engineers were physically limited, because they were able to put out amazing tracks. They didn't see the gear as a hindrance, they saw it as a privilege just to have a Fairchild in the room, and you only really needed one. They only really needed one. And they made great music. So I think I might try to put together an Abbey Road Studio 2 template to try and mix through if I get done with the Jane the Virgin stuff tonight with a decent amount of time. I think it'd be cool. I really want to try it. I want to know if you guys would be interested in trying something like that. Alright, time to get to work. I'll report back. See you tomorrow. Peace.